Welcome today to Live. I'm excited today to have Tiff Moore join me. Tiff is on our Awesome Marriage team and does an amazing job for Awesome Marriage. We've got a couple of really important things to talk about today. Hey, Tiff, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Thanks for joining us. Well, YouVersion has been such a big deal for Awesome Marriage, and we've got a lot of plans there. And you just did your first YouVersion plan. It's one I love. It's called Moving Forward in Forgiveness. So talk just a little bit about that. Why did you choose that topic? And um, what do you see in that?
Well, I chose that topic because forgiveness is one of the principles in marriage. Well, any relationship, any actually, but especially within marriage. Going through our own situations early on in marriage, one thing that we had to learn early on is forgiveness. And
Mhm.
you can forgive the small and the big things. And I think a lot of time we have a hard time of forgiving the bigger things. Like the small things we can work through, but the bigger things we kind of push back, or we have resentment, bitterness, and things like that. And so I wanted people to understand that forgiveness is not only for you, but it's also will help your marriage soar. Because we have a lot of broken people in marriages,
Yeah.
from things from the past or what maybe their spouse have done, and they really just don't know how to work through it. And it starts with forgiveness.
Yeah, that's so good because I think, yes, in counseling and things we encounter in awesome marriage, forgiveness is a big issue. And I think it's something that's difficult for some people, or they're afraid if they forgive that they kind of, I don't know, lose their edge. The other person might take
Mhm.
advantage of them. There's all these things that I think can go through our minds. And a lot of them come from people's past
Yeah.
relationships, family of
Mhm.
origin, things like that. But what you guys found in your marriage, that forgiveness was something that just had to be a part of it.
Yes, it had to be a part of it. Like it wasn't any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you've learned more about God's heart for forgiveness, how has that impacted your forgiveness
Wow, knowing
in your
that,
marriage?
yes, God forgives, knowing that God knows you in and out and knows that he knows what you would do before you even do it. And he still welcome you back. Even when you reject him or you turn away from him, he still has his arms open and wanting you to come back to him. He's still willing to forgive you. And so when I think about how God forgives us, it's like why we can't do that in our marriage.
Mhm.
Like if our spouse does something small or, big or something like that, why can't we extend that same grace in our marriage? So knowing that God forgave me of my wrongdoing makes me want to carry that on in my marriage and give and extend that same grace to my husband because we're not perfect,
Yeah.
but we can be perfect for one another.
Yeah, I think just the fact that God forgives us is just amazing, and how freely
Mhm,
He does that just when we ask.
mhm.
And yet, and so He models for it. He's the creator of the universe, and yet He models that forgiveness for us. He lets us know how He forgives us. But then I think His expectation is we need to forgive other people too.
Yes, exactly.
And especially in a marriage relationship, your
Mhm.
spouse, because
Yeah.
and sometimes I guess our spouse, I don't know why. It seems like people say, "Why do I say those things to my spouse? It's the person I love the most," or "Why do I have trouble
Mhm,
forgiving it?" I think it's just the nature of that relationship, and over time,
mhm.
working things out and letting God put you in a position where He's first and your spouse is second,
Yes.
and just it takes time for that process sometimes.
Mhm. It takes
So
time for you to develop that oneness, that unity with each other.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Well, tomorrow people will start thinking about Valentine's Day because it's February 1st.
Yes.
And it seems like that's the kind of the big red flag. Although I went into a couple of stores this weekend that had all the Valentine's stuff out. So, and it may have been out for a while. I just hadn't been in
Yes.
those stores for a while. But I think the fact this year we're going like we did last year, we're going to tie in something very special for Valentine's Day. And what is
Mhm.
that?
We are doing the online marriage retreat again. We are relaunching it.
Yes, and it's such a good retreat. So many great speakers, so many great topics and everything. So as you lead this in this area, what do you hope this retreat does for couples? What is your vision after it's over that people go, "Wow."
My vision is that they reconnect. We at the top of the year, everybody have goals of what they want to do personally, professionally. And I want them to look at this retreat as setting a goal for their marriage. What is the
Mhm.
vision for their marriage? What do they want their marriage to become? And so I hope that through this retreat, they're able to reconnect because they can do it at home in the comfort of their home and they can make a weekend out of it and just loving each other and realizing, look, this is what we can do moving forward. So it's just giving them the time to reconnect and fall back in love again and create a vision for their marriage.
Yeah, I love the retreat. I love the people that we have that speak into it and speak. And I think there's always next steps too. It's not just one
Mhm.
of those things that you're just going to listen to and like binging a Netflix deal. You're
Right.
gonna have some next steps. If you hit
Mhm.
an area that you think is important for your marriage that you want to work on, you're gonna have next steps there. You're gonna have what you can do to help implement those principles into your marriage. And I had one couple last year that they kind of did like you had suggested, did all of them in a weekend, and then they kind of picked 3 or 4 they really felt hit their marriage, and so they
Mhm.
went back through those, they did the questions, and so there's not a right or wrong way to do it, and I
Right.
love that you mentioned you can be in your pajamas, you can do you can be in the bathtub, you can be wherever you wanna be together and watch this, and which makes it very nice because you can do it at your time, especially, my only suggestion is try to do it without distraction. So if you've got kids,
Mhm.
it'd be great to have a getaway or to have grandparents or good family friends be able to take care of the kids while you do this. So you can just focus on each other, like you said, and
Mhm.
really get connected, grow together, talk about what you're hearing, and say, what are we going to do? That sounds great. Let's work on that this year.
Yes, for sure. Mhm.
Absolutely. So that's coming up. When can they first begin to register for that?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
February 1st. It is right
February
here, and
1st.
you can get that done. And so, if you want to use that as your Valentine gift to each other, wow, that's pretty good. It
Yes.
will last for years and years and years. And just
Mhm.
like the other stuff either gets eaten or thrown away after a
Right.
while or whatever the stuff,
Mhm.
this will last. That doesn't mean you can't still do flowers and cards and all that other stuff, but to invest in your marriage this way would make something to be very, very special. That I think a year from now you could look back and say, I am so glad that we did that.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, let's turn it to you for a minute. You guys have been married how long?
Well, we're actually celebrating 15 years in May.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Almost 15 years. That's good. So what is something that you're enjoying right now in your marriage?
I am enjoying date nights.
Mhm.
Just being intentional with going out, trying new things. Because when the world shut down, we kinda shut down too.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
it was like, okay, kinda easing back into it, and now we're getting back into that. We're planning vacations and things like that, and so I am enjoying that now.
Ah, that's really good. It is so nice. It's almost like we've been given this freedom all of a sudden
Yes.
that we kinda took for granted before till we
Mhm.
lost it, and now we've got it back, and I think we feel the same way, just embracing those things that we can do now that were
Mhm.
limited, not that we didn't wanna do them, but a lot of times we couldn't not because places we wanted to go were closed or we
Mhm.
couldn't go in the way that we wanted to go, and so
You're right.
it's really nice to have that now. That's
Yes.
awesome. All right. The plan is moving forward in forgiveness. You can go to the YouVersion Bible app and you can just put that in and it will pop up and you can start that plan. How many days is that plan, Tiff?
It's 5
It's a
days.
5-day plan, so it'd be a
Mhm.
great time to plan for a couple to do together, or you
Yes.
can do it individually. Either way, it'd be great. And then, of course, the online marriage retreat, you can begin um, signing up for that tomorrow and look for the links and would love to have you there and be a part of that.
Yes.
Thanks, Tiff. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.